Hey everyone! So today, I'm working in the container garage. What am I up to? Doing one of those jobs I've been faced with many times before, and now I've got to do it again. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll get on our way. What you see here is my 1980 Z28. As it sits, it's pretty close to all original. I bought it, oh man, like well over 20 years ago. Pretty standard 80s style car. Typical stuff that might have been cheesy a few years ago, but it's gloriously cool now. I blew up the tack a little while ago. Instead of replacing the dash, I just threw that guy in. B&M shifters there. Of course, it's cockeyed like every B&M shifter is. Got a couple of gauges hiding it over there. Overall interior's in decent shape. In all the years that I've owned it, I think I have washed it twice. That's right. Sat inside most of his life, doesn't get driven in the rain, so what you see is what you get as far as cleanliness goes, and it actually turns up way better on camera than it does in real life. It's not rusty anywhere, it's in good shape. I like the scuzzy appearance. That way, you know what? You never have to worry about anything happening to it. That's kind of the motto that Tim and I have started to go by now, is that you'll see as you watch more of our videos that nothing is really shiny and nice. It's all a little bit kind of beat up and scratched and a little scuzzy. Why? Because like I just said, then you never have to worry about anything happening to it. Park it in a parking lot, walk away, come back with a new dent, you might not even notice. Don't see the point in spending an absolute fortune on a paint job when all you're gonna do is worry about it and never drive your car. Some people might not agree with me, but you know what? That's the philosophy that we live by now. I'll give you a quick look here. So the story behind this guy is that the person that I bought it from a long time ago said that he had the original 350 in it, but he floated the valves in it. So he ended up getting a circle track engine from a friend. I'm not really 100% sure what the specs are on it or anything like that. It's got half decent power. It's way more power than what the stock one would have had. The air induction is not hooked up because I'm missing the little grommet that goes underneath the dash, which causes it to open, but I mean, that's really nothing too necessary. When I was quite a bit younger, threw in these electric fans. I think they're out of a Buick Skylark or something like that. I have no issues at all with keeping this thing cool. Put a 185 degree thermostat in there. It never goes much beyond 185. So what is the project for today, you might ask? Like I said, it's a simple one, but man, it's a pain. Gotta change the water pump. It's not a hard thing to get at, it's just more the fact that you gotta take all this stuff off to get to it. So there's gonna be a lot of wrenching having to go on there. I think that it's worn out. There's a little hole in the bottom here that you're gonna get antifreeze dripping out of when it goes. I'm not necessarily seeing that. Where I am seeing is there's a lot of leaking that's going on here. See, this scuzzy paint is coming off and whatnot. It could be the hose, it could be the pump, I'm not sure, but the fact of the matter is, over the last couple years, I've fought with that lower rad hose a number of times to try to get it on better and whatnot, and it still keeps leaking. So, and it's kept me from actually driving the car because I just get frustrated every time. What I'll do now then, might as well just pull the whole pump off and then start from scratch, and then I know exactly what's going on. Get rid of the alternator first. So this is a 1/2 inch here. This guy, oh, is that a 9/16 hiding out down there? It is too, jeez. This alternator will not unplug, and I'm not going to mess around with it too much. Just, there we go. That's a good spot for it. Lie it down right there. Ah, yes. Always fun. Bracket's got to come off first so I can get the bolts that are back in behind there. Now, if some people are wondering why I'm not using any power tools, it's because they're all down at the shop and I was too lazy to go and get them. So this is me stuck doing everything by and losing wrenches left and right. And brackets. Take our hoses off first. I don't know how well these guys will come off. It looks as though this hose has been on here for almost as long as I've been around. That there is pretty stuck. Let's see if the old screwdriver will... Not that it matters. I'll just cut this hose if I need to, but let's see if I can cut it. Cut it. No. Oh, maybe. It's hard to do this with one hand holding the camera. There. Gone. Now I'll just worry about this bottom hose, which I think I've had off before, but we'll get that taken off. Move my pan over because I'm sure there's going to be a bit of spillage, and then we can start taking the rest of the pump off. Well, I don't know how well the camera can see, but she's looking pretty crusty there. But to pull off this guy, there's another one holding the power steering pump on, these guys here, and then I am off. The biggest problem is just going to be getting in here. That's no fun, and when you're doing it all by hand, it's even less fun. So I'm going to go and get a bigger wrench. There we go. Loosey-goosey. There. So you can see what I've done in there is I have taken that pump right off because I have to be able to get at this bolt here, and the bracket there was covering it up. Of course, this one's gonna be the tough one. Well, know what we gotta do for that? Get some tri-flow. Oh. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit of fighting and some crossed fingers. So hopefully we can get this thing out, because the last thing we want is for it to snap in there. All right, so this is out of here. I don't know if you can see on the bolt very well in the camera, but there's a lot of crud in there, which was what made things really hard as far as getting it out goes. But what remains now is to take out the remaining ones, and there's not much to get those. Okay, all the bolts are out. I had to take this one last bolt on the top of the alternator bracket out, and then it looks as though it should be free, so I should just be able to give it a pull. And there it goes. One old pump gone. Took my bolts for a spin in the grinder on the wire wheel. Then came in, scraped everything down, got any old gasket crap off or whatnot. Should be good to go, so I'll be able to put the pump right back on in a moment. Pump is back on. I'm just gonna snug up the bolts, Everything looks as though it's going to fit no problem at all. Now it's just a matter of reinstalling some bracketry and getting everything tightened back up again, and then we'll be able to fire it up and see how things go. So we've got everything buttoned up. It's all back together. Belts are on. Now it's just a matter of starting her up and seeing if there's any leaks. What we're looking at is going to be the lower rad hose, because that's around where it was leaking before. So let's give it a whirl. Usually takes a couple pumps. Ooh, look at that. All right. We're leaking some gas over there. I'll have to fix that. Otherwise, the leak down there seems fine. Better shut this thing off before I have any big problems. The culprit turned out to be this guy here, just a rotten old hose. It's been on there for a long time, I imagine. Ran over to the shop, picked up some fuel line, did a replacement, and we are all good to go. So now it's definitely time to take it for a ride and see how things go. Well, I have to end this episode on a bit of a downer. As you can tell by my toque, the seasons have changed since I ended up changing the water pump in the car. I actually never got a chance to take it for a test drive. Believe it or not, too many things happened this summer, and every time I meant to go and do something, something got in the way and it never ended up happening. Next year, we'll just go for a ride somewhere. In the meantime, thanks for watching, folks. Have a good one, and take care. Oh, and make sure to like and subscribe. Snowy backyard. Car in container.